can I tell you a sporting event I take very seriously? Don't laugh. Okay. People watching. Now wait, back in the days I used to do it under a different kind of pretense, right? I'm from New York. It's a lot to look at. Okay, great. But I found that now people watching serves as ministry. I'm going to explain it. Don't judge. Okay, great. Before we get into it, go ahead and like this video. Subscribe to this channel, and then we are going to get into it, okay? Go ahead and like and subscribe first. Go. Go. People watching. Let me explain something to you. I have been on this path of freedom, and the number one thing that changed my life, God asked me one question. I felt one question posed in my soul, and it was, if I could show you a different way to win without you feeling all of that strain, would you apply it? He literally asked me if after all of this, and I show you your life, I can show you that you could have still won and not felt like that, would you have still lived life that way? And I am a studious grandbaby, so I was like, absolutely not. He said, okay, so if you knew that you can study, let's just say for testing in school, that you don't have to study all night and cram and get headaches and do all the things and blah, blah, blah. But if I showed you a way to study, if I showed you a way to use yourself and use your strengths and apply your mind in a way that was easy and you still were able to get the grade that you desired, which one would you choose? And I was like, the one that comes with ease. And so then that unlocked something for me. I feel like ever since I was authentic enough to say and answer that, like, I wouldn't still do it the way that I'm doing it. I'm only doing this, working hard, playing hard, doing all this because literally it's culturally sound sometimes. Sometimes you're copying and pasting what you saw in childhood. Sometimes you're copying and pasting what you see with somebody that you actually admire. You'll see the people like, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And it's like, oh, okay, you're finna go to sleep permanently if you keep doing no sleep. Okay, great. You'll see somebody that's like, and I post this many, and then you'll see, and you have these people who are literally highlighting and glorifying burnout. Burnout to the umpteenth degree. That's what's happening. And so here you are feeling like, well, is there another way? Because if that's what you need to do to win, and I want to win, then that's what I need to do. But the problem is we were made to be in the image of God, not to be a duplicate of somebody else's image. So if such and such says sleep is for suckers, no disrespect to Dave Shan, because you know what? He did what needed to be done. But I'm going to be a sucker. Yeah, if everyone else is telling you their grind and also all the things that they're doing to win, then they are following the path that they decided to follow. The path that I want to take, I want it to look like Jesus. And I saw a Jesus who was cool with naps. I saw a Jesus that was cool with naps in the middle of a storm. Okay, great. I also saw a Jesus that, he veered off of work all the time. He looked up like, Zacchaeus, Kiki, come down. I'm going to have dinner at your house, sir. When he was supposed to be making his way to Jerusalem, to Jericho. It's like, okay, so time out. He wasn't work. I don't know if we want him to be the male Rihanna, but that wasn't his thing. And so I started to see, I'm trying to win like other people, and I didn't even see my God do that. When you look at Genesis, you can literally see the first day he was like, let there be light. I ain't gonna hold you. This was dope. And that was the first day. We don't see God like, and then I made, and then I went hard. And it built up momentum, but it built up momentum in the way that it was supposed to. building upon each other. And then what did the Bible say that he do on the seventh day? Rested. Not the creator of the world resting. Ain't no time to rest. Why? Why is no time to rest and he created time? You see what I'm saying? There's another way to win. But yet, for some reason, we don't understand that ministry. We don't understand that if we just were to slow it down a little bit, okay, great, and go ahead and realize what it is that God is trying to teach us, then we can look more like him. And everyone who is doing the things that look like, woof, that looks like a lot, we can either veer it off to one or two things. Either A, they are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing according to their wiring and God's path for their life, or B, they are holding their lives together and we don't know the outcome or the aftermath to them working like that. Like, yeah, sleep is for suckers, maybe, and maybe you'll sleep when you're dead, and all these other things that you guys are saying, Kay Gray, but what's your blood pressure? When you go to your annual visit to your doctor, what things you need medication for? Okay. Also, you get migraines a lot? Oh, okay. Do you have any gastrointestinal issues? Okay. Maybe most of this is coming from the way in which you're pushing your body, because this is a vehicle that God wanted you to use properly. Okay, good. So there's just some things that looks like maybe we should be doing things a little bit different. Maybe we should be doing things in the way that speaks to us in the way that God wanted us to go ahead and do. I have something that I wanted to share, and I'm going to go ahead and look this up. Matter of fact, no, I'll just stick to the people watching. When I look at other people's ministries and I watch them, it reminds me that there's another way to do exactly what needs to be done, and you can get the same result. I'll give you an example. We all have somebody at work who does not work as hard, who is not the first one in, who is not the last one to leave. And yet they are maintaining not only their sanity, their work, but their job. And most of the time, if you are not adhering or realizing, oh, this is ministry I'm supposed to be watching, you'll be mad at that person. Oh, shit. I literally worked with someone in the past that did not remember certain things and was making pertinent mistakes. And management just kept trying to figure out different ways to keep her. Hey, when we tell you something, can you get a pad and just write it down? Can you do something? And I'm like, why is she getting all this preferential treatment? What are we doing? We're watching the fact that you are hard on yourself when you make mistakes. But when other people err and make mistakes, it's okay. So guess what the ministry of that person should have taught you? It's okay to make mistakes. Not careless, but it's okay to make mistakes. When you see that somebody else is like, I don't got to get a BBL to get attention. Like, really watch people, everyday people, and watch, it don't matter how much influx this job does, you maintain this. Man, that's ministry. It is ministry to be able to, and I'm posing it as ministry because it should be something that you look into. How is it that in the middle of the storm, Jesus, you're asleep and they're worried? Something about your outcome is so attractive because it doesn't match the environment. It doesn't match the variables. And so something about that should make you want to get closer to a Jesus, closer to the person who's patient, closer to the person who we make the same, but you don't seem like you having financial strain. Get closer to that person and say, can you teach me your variables? Because we're supposed to glean from people. Each one teach one. We're supposed to get close enough to them to go, so you're making minimum wage, but yet you're not. Oh, but you make sure you're dead, and you make sure you save, and you make sure that you don't, and you make. Just learn their variables. And maybe even possibly you can start to duplicate their particular ministry in your own specified way. I guarantee you, here's my challenge to you. I guarantee you that the person that you get upset with, or the person that you just don't understand, secretly you're like, if I could take a piece of your ministry, it will make my life easier. Do that. Look at the person at work. Look at the person at the family. Look at the person in the relationship. Look at the people in the community. Whatever you need to do. I guarantee you the person that you like, oh yeah, here they go. They're going to ask me to do it because such and such is not doing it. And now you're getting mad at such and such. And what you don't realize is, I love the fact that they don't burden you with all the stuff that they burden me with. No, you don't want to appear or feel incompetent. But if you're honest with yourself, there's something about the fact that they don't rush to burden you that makes me feel like, well, why they do that with me? Ministry. Why you think people don't? And whatever the outcome is, be brave enough to take that on. If you don't want to be the go-to person for every single thing at work or at home or in the family, if you don't want to be the person that, okay, now somebody's not doing their part and I got to go ahead and do extra. If you don't want to be the person that always got to arrange things that make you stressed out, whatever it is, be brave enough to add a variable that will stop that flow. Because guess what? When the flow stops and people realize that they can no longer use one particular plug, like this plug is not working, they will find another outlet. They will. People will use people, and there's so many people to choose from. What you have to overcome is you're not going to guilt me into doing something that harms me. Because how much longer are you going to make people keep doing that to you? How much longer are you going to make people keep being, you're going to be readily accessible to everybody all the time? Your finances, your time, they get to call you, wake you out of your sleep. They get to stop your food. Like, when do you stop and be like, I'm not sitting on the throne. I'm not God. And so I'm not going to pretend as if I can maintain all of this all the time. I'm going to stop and look at, how does she have more children than me and she's peaceful? How is it that we in the same environment but you're peaceful? How is it that you're going to start looking at people as, where is your peace? Let your compass be to people who show that they have peace. Identify their variables and then start to produce that in you. I have been blown away watching people in their own way, specifically at work, go, well, why do we have to do that? AKA, y'all putting too much on us and you want to put something else on us? I don't want to do it. So here's how I'm going to tell you that in my own specified way. Why do we have to do that? Can you explain blah, blah, blah? Do we really need to go that route? Whatever it is, just be free enough to be like, see, now if they would have asked me, I would have been like, cool, even if the deadline was breathable or not, but I would have felt some kind of way walking back to my desk. I would have felt some kind of way after I hung up the phone. I would have felt, and some reason you're able to say what you need to say and it doesn't overwhelm you. What are your variables? I want to practice that ministry in my life. Do you understand that? Find the people, that's my challenge. Find the people that have outcomes that you literally, secretly, you favor it. And in your own way, take their variables and make it palatable to you. Yeah, I know they don't ask you stuff because you're incompetent. I don't want them to ask me for stuff, but I want them not to do it out of respecting my boundary. Don't call me 2 o'clock in the morning. That's a Jesus hour. Yeah, that's when Jesus is, yeah, you need to be on the main line, his main line. Yeah, do that, please. Do you understand? All right. I feel like you got what you needed. Podcast, you already know what it is. Strive in Inspire. Strive in Inspire. She's on everywhere you can listen to something, okay? Audible, SoundCloud, iTunes. You could put your ear to it. She there, okay? And then these videos we do every single week, Thursday to be exact, okay? But I don't stand in the way of ministry. I don't. You're going to go ahead and evangelize, listen to the podcast, go ahead and do the things, share there. You're then going to evangelize here, liking the video, subscribing to it, all the things, okay? Sharing, commenting, just the YouTube stuff. That is evangelism because this is ministry. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and let me go. We will talk later. All right. Later.